Now, here's Homebuyer short sale tip number 9. Know your worst competition. Short sales attract a lot of investors. Investors typically are known for having cash, and they will make cash offers. And what's very characteristic of their cash offers is they're often lowball offers, and these can often blanket an entire neighborhood, making it very difficult for buyers like you, maybe a first-time home buyer or a second-time home buyer that's depending on financing to close. It might make it very difficult for you to be successful in purchasing a home that's a short sale. Now, to make your offer stronger and to counter this opposition, if you would, you might want to consider putting a larger earnest deposit down, or even offering to close quicker than normal, so that you can compete with an all cash offer. Otherwise, you coming in with a home loan, a mortgage, is really not going to compete with an investor that's able to write a check and close in a matter of 5 to 10 days. What you do have in your favor is, as a buyer, a home buyer that's not an investor per se, you're probably going to be willing to make a market value offer, whereas investors are forced to make offers that build into the figures their own profit margin. And so, on a $100,000 value home, an investor might make a cash offer of 60,000 or 65,000, which sometimes slips through the cracks and gets approved by the short sale asset manager, but often it doesn't. But you need to be prepared, knowing what your counter is, what your answer is, so that you can make your offer as strong as possible in a very, very competitive marketplace. Homebuyer short sale tip number 10 is the phrase approved short sale. Now, if you've been out there at all looking for homes and maybe searching on the internet yourself or going through a real estate agent, which is highly recommended, you're often going to run across this phrase, approved short sale. What does that mean? Technically, it only really means what the real estate agent listing that property for sale meant it to mean. Now, how is that? Some agents will actually list a home and call it an approved short sale just because the lender or of the owner that's selling the property has received some basic paperwork pertaining to the seller, such as a hardship letter or financial documents, and they've agreed to do a short sale. In the real estate agent's mind, that means approved short sale. As you can see, there can be a lot of confusion caused by this phrase. So you need to be very so you as a buyer need to be very aware, clued in on the status of that property that you're looking to make an offer on. It's not inappropriate for you to have your agent, your real estate agent, do some, investigating, some due diligence to find out if that's what's meant in the instance that you see the words approved short sale on the listing. Now, there's no way to know what the final number the bank is willing to accept on the house is until an offer is presented to them. So in reality, this can be kind of a sneaky way for the listing realtor to generate traffic to a short sale home. Now, in its truest sense, an approved short sale actually means that at some point the lender has indicated to the owner of the property and to the agent representing them what their bottom line price would be on the home. That is really, in the truest sense, an approved short sale. This often happens when another buyer makes an offer on the home, the lender counteroffers that offer, that buyer walks away, but now it's unveiled to the world what that lender will take to remove their interest in the property. Now, remember, as we said earlier, under the Hoffa rules in late 2010, a home's actual sales price might be approved, quote unquote approved, by the lender before it's even listed for sale. So there's just a couple of things you need to be aware of when you see the phrase approved short sale. Just note that it may not mean what you think it means, and a little bit of due diligence and investigating, a little bit of sneaking around sometimes will get you prepared for what's really going on. Homebuyer short sale tip number 11 is lowball offers. You've got to be realistic as a buyer with your offer. Don't insult the lender or lowball them. According to the National Association of Realtors, which is the biggest industry organization or professional organization in real estate, 80% of the offers made on short sale properties are not accepted. That's an astounding fact. This means that, 1 in 5 offers is maybe a realistic offer is accepted by the lender that's approving the short sale. Now, it's true that lenders don't want to foreclose and take back homes and sit on them and have them on their books with all the upkeep that's involved. But, by the same token, lenders need to answer to the investors whose money is really behind the loan that's in trouble. And they're not going to give away the home either. So you, as the home buyers, got to really come to a realization that a lowball offer might actually make you miss out on a property that you might have acquired if you'd made a reasonable offer, at least close to the true market value of the property. Homebuyer short sale tip number 12: surprises at or before closing. Because short sales often, and not always, but often involve sellers that are in financial trouble. They're experiencing some kind of hardship, such as divorce or medical emergency, or something happened with their business, maybe a bankruptcy. They often forget stuff, or worse still, they conceal things that might be very important. For example, does the seller have an undisclosed second or even a third mortgage against the property? Did the seller recently have some work done on the property, which might turn into a mechanic's lien? Is the seller in trouble with the IRS or the state tax board? Are there some liens against the property, against the owner? Or are there some liens around the corner that are about to show up? In a short sale, all the liens need to be satisfied or released before you can safely close. So if you're getting a loan, a mortgage loan, an FHA, VA, or conventional USDA loan, then your lender is going to require title insurance, and this should solve the problem. But if you're a cash buyer, just be careful, because closing without doing a public record search is absolutely dangerous. You really don't want to close without doing a public record title search and doing your due diligence. It's better to have wasted a few $100 on an appraisal, home inspection, and so on and so forth, than ended up with a house that has a few $100,000 of other obligations against it that it's too late to deal with, because you now acquired the property and put good hard-earned money into it. Short sale tip number 13: reject. It's not a word that anybody really wants to hear. Nobody likes to be rejected, but you've got to be realistic. Not all short sales are approved. There's a good percentage of short sale transactions that never close, even after a lot of toil and effort and work on the part of all the parties involved. Some sellers are just not eligible for a variety of reasons. Remember that the seller has to be eligible to short sell the property. Not only do you, as the buyer, have to go get a loan approval, and you're going through your approval process, but the seller's going through their approval process with the lender that they owe more money to than the property's worth. And there might be some weird things lurking, such as mortgage fraud on the loan that they got, or maybe they make too much money to be considered as having a financial hardship. In any case, there are lots of reasons why a buyer needs to know that after weeks of waiting and negotiating between all parties, a short sale transaction could technically fall apart. It does happen. Homebuyer short sale tip number 14: drama with inferior lien holders. Now, what are lien holders? A lien holder is a creditor that has an interest in the property that you're looking to purchase. A lot of homes back in the day were purchased with first and second mortgages. Buyers would purchase homes with no money down, and they'd get a first mortgage loan and what's called a piggyback second mortgage loan that went right behind the first, which financed the property to the tilt, to 100%. So there's a second lien holder whose loan is also secured by the property, and the seller has to make sure that both of these lien holders are satisfied in short selling. And the short sale can actually not be completed, which means you can't buy the home without the lien holder being satisfied in some way. And we're talking about an inferior lien holder. An inferior lien holder, also known as a junior lien holder, is a lien holder whose loan is in second or third or fourth or fifth position behind a loan that takes precedence, takes priority, because it was recorded first against the property. Now, this doesn't have to do with amounts. It has to do with which loan was recorded first. So if there was a $300,000 loan that was recorded on January 5th and a $500,000 loan that was recorded on February 5th, the smaller loan in that situation, that scenario, actually has priority, and that lien holder will get satisfied first. Now, often the inferior lien holders will want some monetary compensation for releasing their lien, and they're fully aware that the short sale transaction really can't close without that happening. This may be as little as $500, $1,000, $5,000. But you've got to realize as a buyer that an entire short sale can fall apart because the second lien holder will not cooperate with the parties to the transaction. And sometimes the buyer even has to bring money into closing to pay the second lien holder directly themselves through closing. And this might happen because the first lien holder disallows the seller or the owner of the property from paying anybody. So as you can see, it's really a tangled web. Everyone's grabbing for what little money's on the table, and all you're looking to do as a buyer is to close on the home successfully and make sure there's no drama at the closing. But it's a very real possibility that a lot of hard work could go down the drain if the junior lien holders are not adequately compensated through the short sale. Well, I sure do appreciate you watching this presentation, and I hope it's been helpful for you. Thanks again for watching and listening. If you're a home buyer, we wish you the best in your house hunting efforts. We welcome your phone call, your email to contact us regarding getting financing for FHA, VA, conventional, or USDA loans, not only on short sale transactions, but also on bank-owned properties, standard sales, and anything else. So let us know. Give us a call. Or call 877-332-9703. Thank you.